Alright, so I'm going to be going over how to play defense on every single map in the current rotation. Starting off with Abyss, going in alphabetical order. So for Abyss, the most important spot you want to control and make sure to not lose is mid, because if you lose this space, then you will have a very slow rotation from A to B. Say if they hit B and you're on A, losing this space means you'll not be able to rotate as fast. These players die, and now you have like a 2v4. Very hard. It's incredibly important to keep this space so you can rotate fast. Um, Now, the unfortunate part with Abyss is that you can't use any util to really control it for you to know that there's not been anybody here. So you kind of have to allocate a body to mid, making sure there's somebody always checking, jump peeking in this little corner right here, ready to fight if somebody rotates from here. Boom, swing, swing. Uh, but yeah, that's the unfortunate part about Abyss, is that the mid is really hard to control unless you allocate somebody in their body there, or like some important util like Sylvadar. Now, if you want to play B, playing B is really hard. I would recommend playing these weird spots. This spot right here, you can only see their head and they barely see the top of your head. You can play on top of here. It's a really good spot. It's really annoying to deal with. You can play on top of a library or by library. You can play on top of this box on site for their initial peak, or right here at the bottom. But if you can't get any picks and you're on weak side, and weak side is when you have less defenders than the other side. So if A has 3 defenders, you have 2 defenders, you're on weak side, they have strong side. I would recommend just playing retake. Maybe go for 1, not anything dangerous, don't peek in at 3, just go for like a small little peek. And if you can't kill him, I would just recommend playing off and playing retake. Now for A, I would recommend having somebody put pressure on main initially, like a op on Jet, or just like a Reyna who's really good. Put some pressure here so they have to use some util and the site hit isn't too hard, but especially if you're just playing, of course if you're on weak side, just play retake. Retaking A is extremely easy. They don't really have any spots to play. This backside is really hard to take sometimes because they have somebody on the left, right, and then on top. Just when you're playing retake, make sure to have more people going CT, and less people going up tower. If there's more people tower than CT, then you're probably gonna lose the retake. Since this is just the harder spot to fight for. And if you can take the space, you should be able to win the retake pretty easy, unless the time has gone down a lot. If you do want to play on site A, I'd recommend holding like some kind of cross right here, having some util. Then I would recommend playing on this site smoke, or yeah, no, I would say playing this side smoke so they can't take backspace. Okay, for Ascent, very defensive sided, very easy, because there's only one choke that can really hit from, unless they take mid space. So taking mid space is extremely important on this map, because if you lose mid or you don't pressure mid, not only do they get a way they get a way to make their attack a lot easier by splitting. The reason defense on Ascent is so hard, or attack on Ascent is so hard, is because there's one choke point on both sides, and so using util to stall them out and being able to spray through, and there's only one spot you have to look for defenders, it makes it extremely hard for attackers to hit. But if you give them mid and they can take tree or they can take mid market, then they have 2 variables that they have on you, and now it's just a lot harder to defend against. So making sure you have somebody mid who at least has the control. Maybe not, they might not get a kill, but they have the control and they know what they're doing. It makes it a lot easier to play around. It makes it less surprising when things happen. Now, I'm going to start with B. Places to play on B. You want to put pressure on both mains, so they have to use util. Making sure that they don't have a bunch of util for the site hit is extremely important on all maps. So maybe they'll use an Omen Blind, they'll use a drone, a dart, Cypher Cam, Reyna Eye. You want to get all of that util that's really annoying on their site hit and to defend against on the main, so they take main and now their site hit is really weak. And now all they have to do is like sacrifice their duelists as they run out, like Jet Dash right here, and then you can spray them out. Really easy. Now if you want to site smoke, smoke right here. Really good. You can play around the smoke. See, they can't see you when they're walking out main, and then they walk out. 3 kills. Or like this. So, very good side smoke. That. And if you're retaking on B, I recommend smoking like that. For bow house, so they only have one spot to peek from. If you want to play on site, I probably wouldn't recommend it unless you have teammates who will actually help you on site. I have a Silva playing spray here since all of these walls are made of paper. They might start spraying back, and that's perfectly fine. Just make them a little scared, make them wary, make them use util, Sova darts, and everything. That's what you want to do. You want to put pressure on areas so they have to use util to take them, so their site hit is now weak. For A, it's pretty much the same exact thing, but on A, you want to play site. Or if you either play site or you play retake. There's no and ifs or buts. You put pressure on the main, try not to die, or get to and die. And if you want to play site, you play site. If you don't have any teammate, if you're on site by yourself, like you're solo queuing, you're playing site by yourself, your teammate's sitting in garage waiting to spray, get off site. Just have the smoke right here, get off site. Just get off site and play retake. Do not fight site by yourself. You will lose. You're not like they're just gonna bum rush you, and it's just gonna be really hard to play. Just get off site. I've learned the hard way. Just play retake. If your teammates aren't willing to help you on site, you say, "Oh, I need help. Come on site, please." And they don't come to site, just get off site, play retake. Don't even try. Not even worth trying. I promise. If you do want to site smoke, just smoke right here. It gives you a lot of space to play around. Play in the smoke. You don't really have a lot of space on the site, but it gives you a lot more variables to do what you want. So on bind, I actually have something to talk about since it's not like super basic one lane for them to entry from. Bind actually has multiple entries from on both sides since there is no mid. So there's no mid you really need to take control of. Now there's 4 areas you need to have control of, or 3 I'd say that are more important. And that is bathroom, short, hookah, and garden. So like I was talking about weak side and strong side, weak side really wants to play together. On defense, you want to play together to a T and play on each other's asses. Okay? So if you're playing weak side on A, you want to group up garage or showers. Make sure to have this showers control. Let them take side, essentially. Let them take front sight through short, maybe lamps. Fight right here so they don't take back sight for free. Make sure your teammates know that they can be lamps. But just try not to let them get this site, this space, and really make sure to not let them get bathroom space. Because if you control bathroom, it gives you a lot of variables that you can play around. You can either walk out showers, take this space, and then flank around short and get the guy planning, or just whoever's playing around. Or you can just be a pest. I'm sure on attack, you know, when you're trying to plant, this guy bathroom is super annoying. That's why you want to play here. Now, if you want to protect short, it's actually relatively hard and easy at the same time because a lot of people like just 5-manning short. So it's just annoying to deal with, and it's just overwhelming for only a couple players. But if you do want to play and control short, you want to have somebody on top of the U-Haul, and you want to have somebody here. You want to peak this on a timing. I'd say it gets down to about 104, 134, I mean. Why? At 134, by that time, if they're walking up immediately, they'll be looking at this short guy right here. And if you peek, then they won't be looking at you. It's a free kill. Now for B, it's the same thing, but you can actually control both points, especially if you have smokes over here. So for garden, if you don't want to fight and you don't have an op, I would say if you do want to fight, if you don't want to smoke this, have an op, fight that. Really easy kills. Smoke long, you have this space pretty much. And now if they want to walk up, you have your teammate right here, some kind of flash util, and now you fight this. Boom. It's so free. Now they have to peek through smoke. It's just so much harder for them to take this space. It makes them scared, and they might not even fight it in general. And if they do fight it and they don't use util and they just walk out the smoke, it's free kills. And it's the same for hookah. You want to be both playing hookah and taking this space so it's annoying for the enemy. You don't want them to have 2 spots to entry from, so you have multiple variables to defend from. Unless your team rotate. And now if you want to play retake B, now you have a lot of spots to play retake from. You have hookah, now you have haul, now you have elbow, now you can pinch the enemy. It's just super easy. It makes life and retaking and defending so much easier. Okay, now for Haven. This is going to be really repetitive because It's the same for all maps, but it's just there's certain nuances for each map that you need to understand. But it's essentially playing defense is essentially playing with your team and making sure certain spaces aren't taken. So for Haven, like I said on Abyss, mid is extremely important. Why is mid important? Because, for example, if like Cypher can get right here, they run a fake A, and they end up going C. Now you have to rotate from A to C, and this guy's right here and get a free kill, and he cages off, boom, and then he runs away. It's just extremely hard because now you cut off your rotations. Now you have to put bodies there and risk 1v1s and 50-50s just to get rid of just to be able to rotate to C. And by the time they planted it already, it's been 10 seconds. Now you have to retake 30 seconds. You take 7 seconds to defuse. Really annoying. So making sure this mid space isn't you're at least aware of this mid space and controlling it a little bit is extremely important. Having one person being able to walk down here all the way down to bottom mid somewhere in this corner so that you can hear their rotations, and you can protect your own rotations if they're faking. So they're hitting A, now they start walking back, now they're gonna go C. You can calm your team that they're going C. Now they're safe to just full knife out run unless like they peek window, but they shouldn't be doing that. Mid space is extremely important on Haven. It's also extremely important for playing retake A because if you have someone mid, then you can flank. And I'm sure you've experienced Haven A being a super annoying site to retake. Why? Because there's really only one choke point to worry about. Because Heaven will always be smoked pretty much, and when it's not smoked, then you're just a lucky camper. They're not gonna just jump out Heaven. So retaking A is extremely hard without proper utility, and you never have proper utility in ranked because this is only the only choke point. So you have to make your own choke points. Not make your own choke points. Make different entry points. So from flank and CT, now you have 2 spots to retake from, and it's just a lot easier to retake A. Makes it infinitely easier for not only your teammates but for you to be able to play this. The big thing for Haven is making sure you have the lines and making sure you have space in every area. So you want somebody having control of the A line, the C line, and mid. Now having all of that at the same time is really hard, but you at least want, I'd say at least 2 of them. And if you don't have a bunch of space mid or a bunch of space A, you want to at least have the line so you know they're not there. So at the start of the round, you see a lot of Sovas dart main, so you know if they're there or not, so they can allocate different areas to more people. Because on Haven, you have like 2 here, 1 here, 2 on A. That's a really inefficient way to play defense on Haven, because if they hit C, it's a 5v2 on C. Now you're just playing retake on every map. That, or if they fight for site, now you're just playing a 3v4 every map or every round, and it's just extremely hard. So for example, if we start 2 on A, I fight this, and then my teammate fights sewer. He gives me time, I can walk up. Now I have this A line. Now I have all of A for free. My teammate sewer can leave. He can go to B or C to reinforce that area so it's easier to defend. Now if there's like 2 on B and they start going C, the rotate is extremely fast, and now there's 4 people on C. I can flank, and it just makes it easier to defend. Or we can say vice versa on C. Say for example, I have my teammate, like my jet opping on top somewhere. I have my teammate walk to cubby. Now I walk away so I can reinforce some other area of the map. Say I want to go B. I have window. I peek mid. There's nothing mid. Now I know that they're all A. And my teammate C has a good position to be able to kill at least 1 or 2 if they do not go A. Now we can reinforce A site. We can defend A site and not have to play resave, which is super annoying. And that's essentially the gist.